Hey guys, tonight we're not looking at the past. We're looking at today's news. And then we're hitting the fast forward button. You see the headlines every day. Tense standoffs between global powers, an AI arms race escalating between the US and China, terrifying new drone tactics being perfected in conflicts like Ukraine. You hear about leaders taking extreme measures to protect their DNA on foreign visits, and you see political rhetoric getting hotter and hotter, with news just in that some want to rename Departments of Defense to Departments of War. We all wonder, where is this all heading? Well, tonight, we're going to see. We're leaving today's anxieties behind and diving headfirst into a future born from them, a hypothetical World War IV. Forget the Hollywood version, with its heroic super soldiers and noble sacrifices. We're talking about the gritty, terrifying, and scientifically plausible reality of a war fought not by men, but by silent algorithms, autonomous machines, and weapons that can strike from space without warning. This is a war where the front line is everywhere, and your smartphone is the enemy's greatest spy. You think you're a survivor because you're good at video games and you have strong opinions on Twitter? Trust me, in this war, you wouldn't last 5 minutes. And we're gonna prove it. If you enjoy watching Kai get systematically rendered obsolete by future technology for your educational amusement, a quick like or subscribe would be amazing. As always, I'm fascinated to see our global classroom. Drop a comment with where you're watching from and what time it is. Now, put your phone in a Faraday cage. Oh, you don't have one? Grab a banana for purely analog moral support, and let's find out how quickly you'd become collateral damage. The first 5 minutes, congratulations, you've been unplugged. You're at home, probably doom-scrolling on your phone, reading another tense headline about a standoff in the South China Sea. Your smart speaker is playing some algorithm-approved chill hop. Life is normal. Suddenly, every
System
screen in
update
your
in
house,
progress.
your TV, your laptop, your phone, even the tiny display on your smart fridge, flickers and displays the same simple, chillingly polite message, system update in progress. Then they all go black. Your music stops, your lights go out. The entire city outside your window is plunged into a sudden, profound, and unnatural silence. There's no sound of traffic, no hum of air conditioners, nothing. You look out your window. A few blocks away, a sleek, self-driving taxi, its guidance system fried, silently veers off the road and crashes into a storefront. High above, a commercial airliner, its fly-by-wire electronics gone, begins a long, silent, graceful descent that will end in a massive, fiery explosion. The war didn't start with a bang. It started with a whisper. A coordinated cyber attack, a digital blitzkrieg, launched by a coalition of Eastern powers against Western alliances, took out the command and control networks. And then, high in the atmosphere above the continent, the second shot was fired. A flash of light you never saw, an EMP. Fun fact number 1, an electromagnetic pulse, EMP, is a burst of energy that can induce powerful electrical currents in electronic devices, frying their delicate circuits. While a high-altitude nuclear detonation is one way to create one, future warfare could deploy powerful, non-nuclear EMP weapons, or E-bombs, designed specifically to cripple a nation's digital infrastructure in a single, silent opening move. Anything with a microchip that isn't specifically hardened inside a protective Faraday cage, which is basically everything you own, would be instantly and permanently fried. Your phone is a useless brick. The power grid is gone. Every modern car, train, and plane is now a glorified paperweight. The first shot of World War IV just sent your entire country back to the 19th century in the span of a single nanosecond. Your first 5 minutes are spent in a state of profound confusion, probably trying to find your router to reset it, completely unaware that you are now a civilian in an active and very lethal war zone. Hour 1, the sky starts hunting. The initial shock and confusion give way to a new, more terrifying realization. The enemy doesn't need the power grid. Their most effective weapons are autonomous, with their own power sources and secure, short-range communication networks. As you stumble outside into the new, silent world, you hear it. A faint, high-pitched buzzing sound, like a million angry hornets. It gets louder. You look up. A drone swarm. It's not one or two large predator drones like you've seen on the news. It's thousands of small, fast, intelligent drones, moving together in a perfectly coordinated, shimmering cloud, a murmuration of death. Fun fact number 2. The war in Ukraine has been called the first full-scale drone war, but it's just a primitive proof of concept for what's next. The next generation of military drones currently being developed by the US, China, and Russia are AI-driven. They don't need a human pilot thousands of miles away. They can be launched in massive swarms, communicate with each other using a decentralized mesh network, and make their own decisions. They are not just remote-controlled planes. They are a single distributed flying supercomputer with 1,000 tiny lethal hands. These drones aren't dropping massive bombs. That's messy and inefficient. This swarm is made of specialized units. Small scout drones are mapping the city in 3D with LiDAR. Jamming drones are blocking any old-school radio signals. And the attack drones, small and agile, are armed with precise, targeted munitions. They are not here to level the city. They are here to surgically dismantle it. They are here to find and eliminate infrastructure, military targets, and anyone who gets in their way.
Me, or is that getting
and in
closer?
a modern war,
I don't know, it's
a
pretty
panicked
dark.
civilian trying
I
to
think it's
organize a
locked on.
resistance is a target. You see the swarm descend on a police station, methodically disabling it with tiny, shaped charges that breach the walls and disable the vehicles inside. You realize you have to get out of the open. You can't fight them. You can't outrun them. Your only defense is to break their line of sight, to confuse their recognition algorithms. You dive into the nearest subway entrance, a dark, terrifying hole that is now the safest place in the world. The first 24 hours, the new apex predators. You spend the night in the pitch-black, silent subway tunnels, listening to the faint, terrifying buzzing of the drone patrols overhead. As dawn breaks, you cautiously emerge. The drone swarm has moved on, but it has been replaced by the next phase of the invasion. Patrolling the empty, car-littered streets are the new ground forces. Quadrupedal robots, the terrifyingly agile dogs of the future battlefield. They move with an unnatural, scuttling gait, their optical sensors glowing with a cold, analytical light. They are not acting randomly. They are methodically scanning, mapping, and securing the city, their movements perfectly coordinated. Myth-busting time. This isn't a war of soldiers fighting soldiers in heroic battles. That's a relic of the 20th century. World War IV is a war of algorithms versus algorithms, with humans as the squishy, unpredictable, and ultimately irrelevant collateral damage. The real war is being fought in cyberspace between the dueling AIs of the major world powers, the US, China, and the new Russian Federation, as they vie for control of the automated systems that now run the world. You are just a piece of data to be managed, corralled, or deleted. Threat number 1. Information warfare. Your phone is dead, but the enemy is still using parts of the network. They are broadcasting deepfakes and AI-generated propaganda to sow chaos and distrust. You see a group of survivors huddled around a miraculously working, battery-powered tablet. It's showing a video of soldiers from your own country supposedly committing atrocities. Is it real? The faces are perfect, the voices are perfect, but the shadows are just slightly wrong. You have no way of knowing. The war is not just for territory, it's for the very concept of truth itself. Threat number 2. Automated infrastructure. The smart city is now your enemy. The automated water purification plants are shut down, not because they're broken, but because the enemy AI has locked them down. The vertical farms that grew the city's food are offline. The doors to every modern building are sealed, controlled by an AI that sees you as an error message.
Denied.
Every piece of technology that was designed to make your life easier is now a barrier to your survival. You are living in a smart prison. The first week, the silent killers. Let's say you're a genius.
It's okay.
You found a small group of survivors.
We did it!
You've located an old, analog water pump in a city park, and you found a stash of canned food in the basement of a destroyed restaurant. You think you might just make it by hiding in the city's concrete canyons. But the war has entered a new, even more terrifying phase. One afternoon, you see a silent streak of light in the sky, like a meteor, but impossibly fast and straight. You don't hear a sound. A few seconds later, a hardened government bunker complex 5 miles away, silently and completely disintegrates in a massive, conventional explosion that shakes the ground. You have just witnessed an attack from an orbital weapon. Fun. Fact number 3. This is the concept of kinetic bombardment, sometimes nicknamed rods from God. It's a key part of the new arms race for the militarization of space. It involves dropping a massive, dense tungsten rod from orbit. It contains no explosives. The destructive force comes purely from the incredible kinetic energy it accumulates during its fall, hitting the ground at several times the speed of sound. It would strike with the force of a small tactical nuclear weapon, capable of penetrating hundreds of feet of concrete, but with none of the radioactive fallout. It is the ultimate bunker buster, and you would never, ever hear it coming. This is the moment you realize that there is no safe place. But there's another weapon, one you can't see at all. You start to feel sick, a strange, dry cough, a low fever. You dismiss it as stress, but it's not.
just stress.
You remember seeing old news reports
World
from
leaders
decades
gathered
ago,
today for a
stories
critical
about
summit
world
on
leaders
global
being so
security.
paranoid about DNA theft that their staff would wipe down every surface they touched on foreign visits, even collecting their own waste. At the time, it seemed like a spy movie plot. Now, it's horrifyingly relevant. Threat number 4, the biological ghost. In this new war, the battlefield is also genetic. A silent, airborne virus has been released. But this isn't a normal virus. It's a genetically engineered bioweapon, designed using CRISPR technology to be completely harmless to most of the population. It only activates when it detects a specific set of genetic markers, markers common to the enemy's ruling bloodline or a specific ethnic group. What if, through some quirk of ancestry, your great-great-great-grandmother came from the very population the enemy is targeting? What if your own DNA is a pre-existing condition for a weapon you can't see? This is the moment you realize that hiding in a basement is useless against an enemy that controls space, and even your own body is not a safe place. So, how long do you last? Let's be brutally honest. Your chances are a catastrophic system failure. Scenario 1. You trust technology. You keep your phone on, hoping to get a signal. The moment it connects to a hidden network node, its GPS signal gives away your position to a patrolling drone swarm. A single small drone is dispatched. It finds you and fires a tiny, precise explosive. You last about 10 minutes. Scenario 2. You're a movie hero. You decide to fight back. You and a ragtag group of survivors try to ambush a robotic patrol with Molotov cocktails and stolen rifles. The robot's network sensors and predictive combat algorithms detect you from half a mile away. It efficiently and impersonally neutralizes your group with non-lethal tasers and riot foam before a cleanup crew arrives. You last about 1 hour. Scenario 3. You're a Luddite genius. You go full analog. You understand the threats. You find a deep, forgotten section of the city's old sewer system to hide from the drones and orbital strikes. You have a stash of canned food and a hand-crank radio.
Oh, no!
You are a true survivor. You might last a few weeks. Your end comes quietly, maybe from the genetically targeted virus that has been silently incubating in your cells. Or you get a deep cut while scavenging, and with no antibiotics it gets infected. Or you run out of uncontaminated food and die of malnutrition. The simple, boring truth is that you do not survive. You are a product of the very system that is now turned against you. Every aspect of modern life is controlled by a network of computers. An enemy AI doesn't need to kill every person. It just needs to turn off the water, the power, and the internet, and then use its tireless, perfectly efficient machines to manage the chaos that follows. You are a banana in a world where the blender is a globally networked supercomputer with access to orbital and biological weapons. You exist because, for now, our conflicts are still messy, inefficient, and tragically human. We are living in the brief, strange twilight between the age of conventional warfare and the dawn of the automated battlefield. The tensions between the world's great powers are the seeds of this hypothetical future. So the next time you see a drone on the news or read about a new AI, just remember Kai, your hypothetical, hopelessly analog avatar. And be very, very glad that your smart speaker isn't taking orders from a military satellite yet. Thanks for watching Banana Edu. Remember to hit subscribe. The algorithm says you'll enjoy it.